Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Twystid J, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the new Superman vs. Batman film, which is gonna be out sometime in 2015. Um, which honestly, the rumors that are floating around is Ben Affleck is basically picking the cast he wants to work with, and I'm like, honestly, he said Justin Bieber's name popped up on quite a few lists and said, you know, he would like to work with Justin Bieber. And I'm like, honestly, would you really want to see Justin Bieber's career blow up even more than what it is and see him turn into a complete ordinary douchebag? Which I hate using that term, but even more so than what he is right now. Because if you put him in a Batman film, we'll never get rid of him, and he'll always be a douchebag. And I'm like, honestly, I think the whole point is, I think if you want to put Justin Bieber in that film, you're going to lose a lot of fans, but you're going to gain a lot of young girls support, because all these young girls love Justin Bieber, and yet he's a douchebag to a lot of people. So, and I think that's just my rant. But when I sum it all up, I'm like, honestly, you could pick so many other better people. Which, honestly, I wasn't that high on freaking Ben Affleck being Batman, because he was such a horrible, horrible daredevil. But yet, honestly, I know you literally got to be type-fitted for that feel. But all in all, I'm really not that surprised. Or typecasted is the word I was looking for, and I think honestly Ben Affleck might turn out to be a good Batman. But I don't honestly, if I was going to do my own Batman, I don't know who I would put in as Batman, because it's such a tight typecast. Because I still kind of look at Christian Bale, he's kind of the weak link of all the Batmans. Even though some of my friends say, oh, George Clooney was the worst of all the Batmans, but I'm like, George Clooney kind of kept it real. Val Kilmer wasn't bad. Michael Keaton was obviously the best out of the group, because he was the one that fitted best to it, because he made it believable with his acting. And I think most of it is, I don't know who I would audition for that role if I was going to do a Batman film. If I was going to put Robin in one, I'd probably go with the kid from, I'd either do Zac Efron or that one kid from 21 Jump Street, which really isn't a stretch, because I think he's really got a tall acting. I think he could do a lot as an actor, and I think he'd be mildly cheap to run and basically give more money to your cast. But to think about it, Christian Bale was kind of the worst of all the Batmans, and he had a better supporting cast than most of the other Batmans did, unless you put in unless you do Michael Keaton, which he had Michelle Pfeiffer, he had Danny DeVito, he had Jack Nicholson around him at one time. Jack Palance, well, he had Jack Palance and Jack Nicholson in the first one. He had Danny DeVito in the second. He had Michelle Pfeiffer in the second. But he's always been... Michael Keaton was surrounded by great actors and actresses in those. Christian Bale kind of had that himself because he had Liam Neeson in not Dark Knight, but Batman Begins. He had Liam Neeson in that one as a great supporting cast, which really wasn't a bad supporting cast for him. But in the second, he had Aaron Eckhart. He had, let's see, Heath Ledger. In The Dark Knight. And even in The Dark Knight Rises, he had Anne Hathaway. He had Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He had Morgan Freeman, even though he was very limited in the role. He had Morgan Freeman in, what's his name? God, I can't even think of the guy's name now. Who played Alfred? Michael Caine. Which, he had those two for so long that were back support, but he also had a lot of... And I think that's kind of how you could tell he was a horrible Batman. Because of all the supporting cast he had and how much help he had to take all the pressure off him just to make this film better, which I think Nolan did to make him feel secure. And I'm like, now that Nolan's out, I'm like, I want a Batman that can rely on himself and not just, or rely on Alfred and rely on, I don't want a Batman that's going to have to rely on his cast. And I think that's the one thing that I would do if I was going to do a Batman film. And honestly, it's hard enough to typecast somebody to play Batman unless you were going to do... let's think of the list of people who could play Batman. There really isn't a big list of them. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt could play it, for one. Take on the Batman scenario. I don't... God, who would be a great Batman? I don't know who I would get to play Batman, because I would really have to think about that one, because it is such a difficult process to roll somebody into that. If I was going to put Harley Quinn in a film, I don't know who I would pick to do her either. I would probably do somebody that would really, really surprise. But yeah, I'm pretty much done auditioning. Thinking of the audition tapes for a new Batman if I was going to create one. So I'm Twystid J, and I'm out. Peace.